It's 7:30. Let's catch you up with one of today's top stories. Police Minister Fikile Mbalula right now is in Eldorado Park, south of Johannesburg, and that's one of the areas that have been hit hard by violent protests. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu is on the ground there, but let's cross now to the minister and see what he's saying.
Anarchy that we have seen, looting and doing all sorts of things. And our approach is going to shift as we go on in some of these protests, because we must get the criminals and those who promote lawlessness. The leaders of these protests are not arrested. They don't get to be shot. They are living large. They call for anarchy. The people who get to be shot at, it is children that they push forward. And they're mostly innocent people who just join the protest to come and loot because it's a festival of looting. And the kingpins of this anarchy, they must know that they will face the full wrath of the law. We will not let them pass and do things, and as a result, at the end of the day, there are no consequences. They will be dealt with. And we know that here and around Eldorado Park, some of the so-called leaders of this protest are well-known drug peddlers in this particular area. And they are well-known drug dealers in and around here. And the protest, as it has been conceptualized, it is a protest that seeks to undermine the rule of law in the Republic. And we are going to be very clear in relation to that the state will act and will act decisively. But the state will not suppress the views of the communities where they feel that service delivery is not being undertaken to the fullest. We will protect our communities to be able to voice their views, so that those who are in authority they should be able to respond. Our democracy allows that. Our democracy does not allow criminality. And what has happened here in Eldorado Park and other areas, there is a hand of a criminal in every protest. The criminal that bans, a criminal that loot, there is a hand of a criminal. It's not only people who are protesting and all of that, it is the hand of the criminal. And so I want to explain and to assure everybody that we will maintain law and order, and our salutations go to the police who work very hard to bring about this law and order. And we are not going to put our foot off the pedal in terms of chasing criminals. And they must know, wherever they are, wherever they're going to be sleeping tonight, we're coming after them. We're coming after them, and we are on their case, because we are not going to allow criminals to undermine hard-fought democracy in the Republic of South Africa. Wherever they are, whatever they do, whatever they are planning, we are on their case. We will never, ever arrest anybody in the Republic for raising their political views and protesting for service delivery within the framework of the law. In an actual fact, police will be there to guard them, to ensure that their right to protest, to raise their views, is brought to the attention of the authorities. Government must act in the interest of the people, and that is what our government is all about. It's in the interest of the people, and if they feel that they are not being done, government is not doing its duty from the citizens, government must come down and speak to the people. We don't live in ivory towers. If people of Eldorado Park have got issues of housing, we must attend to that. We must equally attend to issues of drug peddlers, drug lords, and everything else that come with it in this particular area. And we're committed to that. We will actually deal with that. What has happened here, it has got nothing to do with the interest of the people. It's got everything to do with anarchy, disorder, undermining of the rule of law, and at the same time, it has got a hand of a criminal. There are criminals and suspects who are involved in this mission. In all the protests, there is always the hand of the criminal. They loot, they do all sorts of things. Nobody will not be allowed to protest. That is allowed. And our call to the nation is that protect the children. My biggest worry, and our biggest worry even with the police, is kids. Kids, very young, parents must guard their kids. Very young kids get to be shot at because they are used as guinea pigs. And that is how cheap is the life to some of these people who are doing this thing. Life of children is very cheap. So our appeal is that parents must guard their kids. And they must not allow their kids to be used or misused by any other individual. If people want to protest, they must come to the fore, and then they will face the full wrath of the law if they do things unlawfully. And that is what is going to happen going forward. We will not allow lawlessness. That must be understood. Rule of law must prevail at the end of the day. And it must be understood that the rule of law is what we are all about. And that is what is important. Our citizens must understand that. We must protect the children, and police have acted cautiously throughout. Even one of our brigadier, the station commander here, was hit by a bottle, but police wouldn't fire because the people who are doing all of these things are children. And police have acted within the law and acted cautiously to protect children who are almost in the forefront of these particular battles. The perpetrators and the people who call for violence, they live large, they eat big, they do everything, and they don't get shot. They don't get to be arrested. Innocent kids get to be arrested. Kids must be at school. They must be off the streets. And that is what is important. If the protest is genuine and citizens are fighting for what it is their right, the state will protect them. It will never be violent on them. And our citizens must understand that they've got all the right to raise their voices in an organized way, wherever they come from. The state will not be unleashed on innocent citizens for the right that we have fought for in this country and that we enjoy today. So our call really is to say to our people, let us respect the rule of law. But I can assure those criminals here in Eldorado Park and everywhere else that we are coming for them. It is a question of minutes, time, weeks, days, but the law will reign at the end of the day. They must understand that they will never run this country. Criminals will never run South Africa. We are running this country. It's a democratic dispensation. And we are coming for them, and they must know wherever they are, whatever they are planning, we are on their case. We are on their case, and at the end of the day, once we have made up our mind, we'll arrest them and bring them to book where they belong, because they cannot rule and run this country. This country can never be captured by criminals, never. They must understand criminals will never capture this country and this nation, and our people will be protected by our law enforcement agencies. Thank you very much.